Puerto Rico, Guam, the U.S. Virgin Islands, the Northern Mariana Islands, and American Samoa. All of these places that were just mentioned are still colonies of the United States, and that probably won't change in our lifetime. In this episode of English Comprehensible Input, you and I are going to talk about the colonies of the United States. I'm Benji, and on this channel, we learn English through interesting topics. Let's get into the video. Number 1, Puerto Rico, with a population of about 3.6 million. Puerto Rico is an incredibly beautiful island with wonderful people. They call themselves Boricuas, which is what the Tainos, the native people of Puerto Rico, called the island. In 1508, the Spanish colonized the island, but it wouldn't fall into U.S. hands or become part of the United States until 1898. This is when the United States won the Spanish-American War, and when the United States got Puerto Rico, Guam, and the Philippines from Spain. Now, like all of these territories, the Puerto Rican people pay some sort of taxes to the United States and obviously provide benefits to the United States. However, they are not represented in Congress. Luckily, they can elect their own local leaders, so it's not the worst situation in the world. However, it does kind of feel like they have been forgotten by the country which kind of owns them. Puerto Rico is an incredible place and is home to a bay with some of the most beautiful bioluminescence. Hopefully, one day, it will either get its independence from the United States or we will integrate it as a state. Number 2, Guam, with a population of around 177,000. Guam is an absolutely beautiful island in the Pacific, and it's home to the Chamorro people, which, much before the European colonization of Guam, was a thriving nation of people with a unique culture and a strong connection to the land and sea. The Spanish colonization in the 16th century made for an incredibly big change for the people of Guam. They faced immense, huge challenges under the rule of the Spanish. However, the Chamorro people persevered and even blended their culture a little bit with the culture of the Spanish, creating a beautiful and distinct identity for the people of Guam. However, everything changed once again for the people of Guam in 1898, when the United States got control of Guam after that Spanish-American War. Guamanians since then have had a hard time with their political status as a territory. As you can imagine, they want to be able to determine the future of their community. And who can blame them? And while the United States is probably not going to give Guam a lot of rights to determine their future soon, we certainly as a country will hold on to the island because it's of extreme strategic value, being that it's so close to China, Japan, and the Philippines. Despite the long colonial history, Guam still has a beautiful culture and incredible landscapes. From pristine beaches to lush rainforests and even ancient Chamorro ruins. Guam is just extremely special. And weirdly enough, I've never met even one American who has visited the island. Pretty weird, right? Number 3, the U.S. Virgin Islands, with a population of around 87,000. The U.S. Virgin Islands struggled with colonization to an insane degree. They were invaded by many powers such as the English, the Dutch, the French, and the Spanish, just to name a few. However, in 1917, the United States purchased the US Virgin Islands from the Danish for about $25 million in gold. This was primarily for the strategic reasons of having a piece of land in the Caribbean, because of course this was during World War I. So something interesting about US citizens, we don't really know anything about the US Virgin Islands. Most people really have never even heard of them. And just like Guam, I have never met a person who's actually been to the US Virgin Islands. Basically, from what I understand, during the history of the US Virgin Islands, they were used as warehouses and places to cultivate crops or to grow food, cotton, etc. Today, the majority of the inhabitants are of African descent. However, there's a growing population of Puerto Ricans as well as continental US citizens. Number 4, the North Mariana Islands. The North Mariana Islands are a group of 14 islands that are about 375 miles north of Guam. With all of the tropical beaches and climate, it makes me wonder why Americans don't kind of use it as a Hawaii alternative. The story goes that the US didn't have these islands until World War II, when they invaded them and took them from the Japanese. This resulted in an incredibly bloody battle that lasted about 3 weeks and ended in a lot of death, even death of a lot of innocent people. After World War II, the United States kind of took the islands under their wing, so to speak, until in 1978, declaring them a territory of the United States. More specifically, a self-governing commonwealth in association with the United States. And nowadays, they pretty much make most of their money from tourism, agriculture, and producing clothing. Number 5, America Samoa. Personally, when I think of America Samoa, I think military, which is fair. The truth is, there's only about 60,000 American Samoans, and about 20,000 of them are in the military. Due to a bit of a lack of economic opportunity in America Samoa, a lot of locals choose to go into the military to be able to provide for their family. This started during World War II, when the Marines already outnumbered the actual America Samoans themselves, and they decided to make every man over the age of 14 enlist in the military or become part of the military. Since then, it's almost been part of their culture to be in the military. So if they have fought for the military so much, why aren't they a state? Well, racism. Samoan chiefs actually wrote to the President Ulysses S. Grant in 1873 asking to be formally annexed as a state. However, their request was rejected. And while it's sad that they never got to become a state, on the bright side, they've done an amazing job at preserving their over 3,000-year-old culture and beautiful landscapes and nature. And sometimes we're not so good at that. I hope that you enjoyed learning a little bit about the colonies of the United States. If you like this type of video where we talk about geography and history, then let me know in the comments so that I know what kind of videos you like the most. If you want to learn the vocabulary that you did not understand in this video, go to the description and become a member. There, I'll give you flashcards and transcripts for every video. It was a pleasure to have this conversation with you, friend. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.